First trip of the season, and we score limits of jumbo bluefin. I'm sharing how we did it, not hoping this helps you. I know this will help you boost your tuna counts on your next trip. Hustle and fish, let's go.
I always learn to fish, always.
Welcome back to Hustle and Fish, the best place for anyone who wants to level up. Now, today, you're going to get 3 things that attribute to the success of my first trip of the season where we got limits of jumbo bluefin. I'm going to break it all down for you. And today we also got another contest for someone that could guess the weight of a tuna that I'm going to post up. What you're not going to get today is some cool video of us catching fish. I want you guys to go live that, okay? I'm giving you guys the info, the mindset to go and execute. So we're going to start off with number 3 on my list. Keep in mind, we're going to work our way to number 1, which in my opinion is the most valuable. But number 3 is relationships, okay? Without relationships, guys, you can only get so far. And for the record, like if you guys don't personally know me, don't reach out to me after a trip and say, where are the fish? That is not how you build a relationship. If you do want to build one, it's kind of like seeing a hot chick somewhere and right out the back, you say, hey, you want to go to bed? You got to work your way in there, in the relationship, okay? All the relationships that I have, they were built on something prior to me just calling and asking for help. It was maybe more me asking how I can help them. So keep that in mind. After every fishing trip, I do report to friends, give them information because the feeling's mutual. When they go on trips, I want to hear what worked, what didn't work, kind of where they were at. Now, this is my inner circle, okay? I would never ask somebody, where did you catch the fish? If I was not going or if I'm not planning to go the next day. That's just one of the codes. Like you cannot call me because you see my videos of me banging out limits and say, hey, Ralph, where did you catch those? Now, you can't call me if you're in my inner circle and I'll be happy to debrief you. Now, if you're in my inner circle and then you call and say, hey, where did you catch those? And you're not fishing, shame on you. You should know better. You only call and work your relationships when you're going fishing. The code is you don't call for your boss who's going out. You don't call for your bro who gave you information who's going out. You can only call for yourself in the relationship, in the circle of trust. Okay? I learned the hard way. My man Billy K had to scold me and kick me out the circle for a few trips because I thought I was slick. I called for intel. He gave it to me. Finds out I wasn't there and he was like, hey bro, like that information is for you, not for your bro or your bro's bro. And, you know, next time I called, you know, I don't think he was picking up and I don't blame him. Eventually, you know, he gave me a pass. But we got to put that out there. You got to take care of your relationships. Now, a big, huge part of me getting limits on my first trip out this season, I give credit to my relationships. And I give props or I give credit when it's due. My man Jonathan Nguyen, you guys might know him as Grind Mentality, one of the GOATs of the West Coast. I noticed he was fishing on Sunday and he banged out 10, ladies and gentlemen. 10, okay? That's my man. I call him Sunday afternoon and let him know, hey, I'm sending it on Monday. Can I get some info? And being we have a relationship, it ain't like I just called him for the first time in the year. We speak from time to time. He was happy to give me the info. And speaking on relationships, you know, me and Grind Mentality go back to back to 2017 when I just started. So we have a relationship from back in the day, but I still foster that relationship. And this is how I do it. Whenever Jonathan calls me and needs something, everything here has to stop. It has to pause. And he may ask for something, or he might need a little help with something, or he might want some information on something, but I already know. This is one of my OGs. He's done nothing but help me from the beginning. So I need to stop what I'm doing and help him. And he knows that, and I know that, and that's why we have a relationship. The feeling is mutual. He scratches my back, I scratch his back. And more times than none, he scratches my back more. And I'm always trying to return the favor. Let me give you guys a little bonus on relationships, okay? Because a lot of guys that I fish with, these ain't my guys. These ain't guys I grew up with. These are guys that I saw on Instagram. These are guys I saw on Facebook, and just little by little started to comment on their post, congratulate them, thumbs up, always leave positive feedback. And eventually, you know, they come down to the comments, and even myself, I appreciate a nice comment, a nice like. And with that being said, if you like what you're hearing so far, it doesn't take much to give this video a like. Leave me a comment. Maybe if you haven't subscribed, right now would be the time. That's just good fishy mojo. That's just good karma, you know. Doesn't take you guys nothing, but it does a lot for me. Somehow these scientists have figured out that likes make people like me who create content sleep better. That's a joke. Now, number 2 on my list is energy. And it can be mental, physical, and emotional energy. All 3 of those things come into play when executing on fish. Let me ask you this so you know how important energy is, okay? If you worked your butt off, okay, to save up $3,000 to come fish with me, get on the boat, we're heading out to the zone, and you notice I'm yawning, looking sluggish, maybe sipping on a White Claw. Oh, shots fired, shots fired. It's okay to sip on White Claws if you're catching fish, okay? Let's just put that out there. But back to the subject. If I was looking sluggish, tired, and I wasn't producing, like, how would you feel? Every trip that I didn't catch, I'm pretty sure, okay, our clients went home thankful that we put it all on the line. They can't say that Ralph, they can't say that Bear did not try their hardest, okay? It's visual. You can tell when someone's giving it their all, and that's energy. Now, speaking on energy, when it comes to fishing, that is the only thing that I could probably do with the least amount of energy. For example, if I got to work on marketing, if I got to work on the computer, if I got to work on some strategy, and if I don't got energy, it's just not happening, because it's kind of a brain power that's needed. But for fishing, what I've noticed, I don't need the best sleep. I don't need a lot of sleep. I do need some sleep, but because I'm a thoroughbred, DNA wired fisherman, I could go get the job done. But also let me say that my first trip of the season, let me just tell you, I was well rested, okay? I was well rested, and I was ready for this trip. I know when I wake up feeling good and when I don't, okay? Regardless, I got to perform. But when we banged out those limits, I woke up feeling like a champ, okay? My wife could witness and tell you guys when I don't have my energy right. She just knows you need to get some rest because you're acting funny. I'm not being the best husband. I'm not being the best father. I'm not being the most patient. Energy plays a role, guys. And I have to say my energy was at 100 when I banged out limits on my first trip this season. Now, let me talk about emotional energy, because from time to time, I have to deal with somebody on my boat whose energy is not right. Not that they're tired. Being tired is okay. You can lay down, you can go to sleep. Doesn't really matter. Let me take that back. It does matter. Because when guys do go to sleep, there's been times where like, okay, well, I'm watching the clock. It's almost over, okay? But when guys are in the game, I promise you, I'm in the game. Bear is in the game. But for the most part, nobody wants to catch more fish than me and Bear. That's just what it is. So if guys come and they sleep, it doesn't really matter to me because I want that fish bad, okay? But there's been those times where like, if they're not even into it and it's time, I'm rolling. You know, you got your 12 hours. But for the guys who are still standing, still in the game, still got their energy right, I'll go the extra hour. I'll go the extra mile. And the emotional energy that somebody might bring that could be possibly like bad, you know, somebody who's saying that, oh man, we got to go that far. Oh, hey, it's rough out here. Or just, we're not going to catch that kind of energy. I address that right from the beginning of a trip because my boat doesn't leave the breakwater without men huddling up and saying a prayer and giving thanks to God, giving praise to Jesus for strength, health, for the trip, get us back home to our family safe. And for the most part, guys look a little surprised, but I know deep down inside they feel good. And from time to time, somebody will call me after the trip and they say, hey, Ralph, I really appreciate that you prayed for the trip. And that's more than me just getting the energy right. It's more about me, myself, being accountable. I want my energy right with my creator. Now, there is different levels of energy, okay? And if you don't know, you don't know. And I want to shout out Jonathan Nguyen because he knows, I know, the time where I went and fished with him, I saw his energy. And I have to admit, I've never seen that type of energy. I know you guys seen his videos. He kills it everywhere he goes. But what you don't see live in 3D like I did and I do is his energy level. When I saw how he maneuvered and where this energy would just come like more, let's go, keep it moving. He's like this energy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I never knew about tapping into that energy, okay? You can ask him on the next trip that I went without him, just happened to bang out limits again, 8 jumbo tuna, and all I did was mimic the energy that I seen, okay? My experience is, cattle boats, coming back from that world where you get to chill and fish. The energy's different. Yeah, we stay up all night. Yeah, we fish hard, but it's just different energy. And you go on there with a captain like Jonathan and you witness that. And not just Jonathan. Let me give props where due. Let me give credit where it's due to everyone. I fished with Billy K. I've seen the energy. I fished with Chuck Newberry. I've witnessed the energy. I fished with Drew. I witnessed the energy. So it just took time for me to say, that's what I'm doing wrong. Like I'm still fishing with a different energy. Maybe the energy was more laid back. Maybe the energy was more, being on cattle boats and not being a captain. But what I do know is the energy is different. And if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't see me in action, like you really don't know how I executed on limits of bluefin tuna. But that's where we're going to go on to number 1. But before I go into number 1, I want to shout out last week's winner from my episode, Fishing Crew Matters, because it does. If you missed it, you need to go watch that episode. You could click right here or right here and watch that episode. I just spoke to someone this week and they said, bro, your video was spot on. Fishing Crew Matters. But anyways, the winner of last week's episode was Antonio Montejano, 7375. He weighed in at 210. The fish taped out at 212. Congratulations. send me a DM if you're watching this. Regardless, I got your info and I'm going to send you a DM. Now for today's contest, anyone that can guess the weight of this tuna right here, leave your answers in the comments. I'll find them and then I'll find you. Now, for the number one thing on my list that I would say attributed to me coming home with limits on my first trip that no one is talking about is time, okay? I was watching the clock and I knew roughly what time I wanted to be in the zone, okay? I watched the tide, other science, other stuff. If you guys want to know more about that stuff, leave it in the comments and I'll do a separate video on tides and temp breaks and chlorophyll. But I roughly wanted to be fishing hard from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. looking at the tide table, okay? So I didn't want to go too early because what happens is, you know, you waste a lot of energy and time and you kind of have to know when you want to go hard, okay? That's for me. And part of me not rushing to get to the zone, besides knowing I had the time, was I wanted my passengers to have a pleasant ride, okay? But if I'm behind the clock, if I'm behind on time, I don't care how rough and how tough it is. We gotta go. And if I could take the Parker bouncing around, then everyone could take the Parker bouncing around. So prior to me getting to the zone I was aiming for, I came across some fish on the meter, okay? And there were some visuals that made me go left. But let me tell you, before the trip started, I already had set my goal for the day, okay? And my goal was actually to get limits of bluefin tuna. I had 6 guys. I spoke to Jonathan the day before. He got 10, okay? So knowing that he got 10, I knew I could get 6, okay? I know it won't be easy, but that was my goal. I wanted 6 tuna. Now, there's times where my goal is different. My goal is I just want a big fish, okay? That wasn't my goal. My goal was I wanted limits and possibly come home early, okay? I start working the meter marks and we're fishing with spread bars, okay? Why? Because I got prior information. Spread bars were getting the job done. So we start working the spread bars. I see the fleet on the outside. I'm tempted to go, but I stick to my guns because there was meat here, guys. I mean, my meter was lit up. They didn't want to bite at first. So then I'm kind of, okay, do they want it faster? Do they want it slower? I'm going as slow as 4 knots. They're not biting. I'm going 5. I'm going 6. I'm going 7 knots. And then finally around 6 knots was the sweet spot. Boom, we get bit. Happens to be a double. Everyone's calm. Everyone's cool. We execute on the fish. One gets on the deck. The second one gets on the deck. Right when everyone starts celebrating, the only thing I'm thinking, honestly, is time. What that meant to me, those fish on the deck, was right now's the time. These fish are biting now. From experience, I know they might not bite in an hour, but these 2 confirmed that now is the time. They're biting now. So while the anglers want to get pictures, they want to stand one up, I'm just like, no, not now. I spoke to Bear. Bro, we're fishing with spread bars. We're going 7 knots. Let's take care of these fish while we're fishing. All right, Cap, let's go. Bear gets the spread bars back in action. I get us back in the zone. And now, while we're fishing, while we're trolling, Bear's in the back now processing fish. What happens again? Boom. Get hit. Now, Bear's focus is with the angler, bringing that fish in. I got the boat on autopilot. I come down. I start processing that fish. I get him in the kill bag. And then we get the third one on the deck. And then once again, I emphasize, let's start trolling again. We'll process this fish on the go. By that time, I think the anglers understood, like, oh, okay. Captain Ralph ain't playing. He wants to kill these fish more than anybody. Maybe Bear wants them as bad as me. Ain't no maybe. He does want them as bad as me. But these anglers I mean, if you're a client of mine, you can see, man, Captain Ralph is on another level. His energy is right. He don't want to stop the boat, process fish, then get baits back out. No, he wants to do that on the go. And then boom, another fish, okay? So at this point, it was a single hookup and, you know, Bear's working with the angler. I'm in the tower and I'm just like looking at the time. Let me ask you, what would you guys do? You got an angler fighting a fish for 20 minutes. Let's say you're the captain. What are you going to do? You got a deck boss who knows what he's doing. Take care of the fish, take care of the angler, make sure everything goes perfect. Basically, you could just sit and watch the show, record some selfies, but what are you going to do? And then it dawned on me kind of late, and I was like, we're only trolling at 7 knots. I should have a kite out. Because, you know, a kite, depending on what kite you put out, I like the Bob Lewis Light. I could take that thing up to like 10 or 15 knots, depending on the wind. So I was like, I need to get the kite out. So while they're working on a fish, I hop down, I get the kite set up on my own, grab me a rod, grab me a fake flyer fish, and I get us in position for on the next fish. I'm deploying a kite. I'm not just going to stand around here. Get that fish on the deck. Let's get this boat moving. We could process on the go. So now we get hit on the 5th fish, okay? I deploy that kite instantly, okay? I was a little late to the game because of time. The fish weren't as aggressive as when we showed up. I had the kite out. It was looking legit. I know at any moment this kite could go down. We're fighting fish number 5. But mentally, I'm like, man, I should have got that kite out from the beginning. But regardless, we're doing good. But I'm just thinking of time. How can I speed the process in every aspect? And now the anglers know the drill. Everyone's moving at a different speed, different energy. So we get that 5th fish on board. And now the bite was off. The time, it was gone. At about 4:30, it just died off, okay? And I had a decision to make, okay? I had 5 fish. My goal was limits. I'm kind of like way out of the zone where I was. I was kind of drifting towards home. I wanted that 6 fish. I wanted the limits. Looked at the clock and we had time. Time to go look. So what I do? Go up swell. Start working. Now the 6 fish, it took time to catch. I mean, we had, out of all the 6 fish that we caught, the 6th one was the one we had to search for and work for the hardest because fish that went deep. I wasn't metering like I was. I wasn't seeing no visuals, but I eventually got on the gyros. I saw something, went that way. Keep in mind, my meter wasn't blowing up, few little marks, but we got hit and hooked up again, brought that fish in, and we had 6. By that time, it was time to go. Now, there's a lot more I could tell you about this story, but you know what time it is now.